Deep in the dead of night on the African savanna, a silent war is being waged under the cover of absolute darkness. A poacher moves stealthily through the dry brush, completely unaware that 300 feet above, an autonomous drone equipped with thermal imaging is tracking his every single step. The drone does not just record video. Its onboard processors instantly analyze the heat signatures, distinguish a human carrying a weapon from a grazing antelope, and silently beam coordinates to a ranger station miles away. This is not science fiction, but the bleeding edge of modern ecology, where silicon and circuitry are being deployed to guard the fragile pulse of the natural world. We stand at the precipice of a staggering biodiversity crisis, with scientists estimating that over 1.2 million species face the very real threat of extinction in the coming decades. Traditional conservation methods, relying on exhausting foot patrols and manual data collection, are simply no longer enough to stem the tide against well-funded, highly organized anti-poaching syndicates and rapid habitat loss. To bridge this critical gap, conservationists have forged a profound new alliance with artificial intelligence. This binary bridge between human empathy and machine efficiency is fundamentally transforming how we understand, monitor, and protect the Earth's most vulnerable creatures. The real challenge lies in making sense of the overwhelming, chaotic noise of the wild. Enter machine learning, a subset of artificial intelligence where algorithms improve their performance by independently finding patterns in massive sets of data. In the dense, impenetrable rainforests of the Congo and the Amazon, researchers from institutions like the Cornell Lab of Ornithology are deploying thousands of hidden acoustic sensors. These rugged little boxes record the symphony of the jungle 24 hours a day, capturing a relentless cacophony of rain, wind, insects, and animal calls. Analyzing that audio manually would take human scientists multiple lifetimes, but an algorithm can process months of environmental recordings in mere hours. These intelligent systems are trained to isolate and identify the specific acoustic signatures of endangered birds, the low-frequency rumbles of forest elephants, or the sudden sharp whine of an illegal logger's chainsaw. By filtering out the background noise of the ecosystem, the smart tech acts as an ever-vigilant ear, translating the chaotic sounds of the forest into highly actionable data. The impact of this acoustic vigilance is immediate and deeply tangible for the humans on the ground. When an algorithm detects the distinct sound of a gunshot or a motorized vehicle, it triggers a real-time alert, pinging the smartphones of local park rangers with precise geographic coordinates. This transforms wildlife protection from a reactive forensic investigation into a proactive, life-saving intervention. Rangers can intercept threats before a centuries-old tree falls or an animal is lost, shifting the balance of power back to those defending the habitat. But what if the threat is completely silent, or the terrain too vast for microphones to cover? This is where neural networks, advanced computing systems inspired by the complex architecture of the human brain that excel at intricate image recognition, take to the skies. Organizations pioneering aerial conservation have launched AI drones to monitor vast, unforgiving landscapes across South Africa and Zimbabwe. These unblinking eyes in the sky patrol the reserves, analyzing thousands of frames of high-definition video per second in search of microscopic anomalies. The digital pioneers had set a course that rapidly evolved beyond simple daytime surveillance. Equipped with thermal and infrared cameras, these advanced drones are specifically trained to identify the distinct heat profiles of rhinos, elephants, and human intruders in total darkness. The software can instantly differentiate between a poacher hiding in the tall grass and a natural predator on the prowl for a midnight meal. It is a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek, and the machines are tipping the mathematical odds in favor of the hunted. Deploying these cutting-edge technologies in the wilderness, however, presents a unique set of formidable engineering hurdles. Deep in the bush, there is absolutely no reliable cellular service or cloud connectivity to stream heavy video files back to centralized, air-conditioned servers. To solve this, engineers have integrated edge computing directly into the flying robots themselves. The artificial intelligence lives on board the aircraft, processing the visual data locally and only transmitting a tiny packet of text data, like a coordinate and a threat classification, over low-bandwidth radio frequencies. As these autonomous systems gather more data over time, their capabilities expand from mere detection to astonishing foresight. Predictive analytics, driven by the exact same algorithms that power global financial forecasting, are now being used to anticipate where poachers are most likely to strike next. By analyzing historical poaching data, lunar cycles, seasonal weather patterns, and terrain topography, the artificial intelligence generates dynamic, constantly updating heat maps of high-risk zones across the savanna. This predictive power fundamentally alters the strategic deployment of severely limited conservation resources. Instead of blindly patrolling millions of acres in hopes of a lucky encounter, rangers are directed to specific choke points and vulnerable migration corridors precisely when the mathematical probability of an incursion is highest. It is a complex chess match played across thousands of square miles, with algorithms calculating the opponent's next move before they even have the chance to make it. Yet this rapid accumulation of highly sensitive data introduces a chilling, unforeseen paradox. The very databases built to save endangered species have occasionally become lucrative targets for the black market. If hackers working for poaching syndicates breach a conservation network, they gain instant access to the real-time GPS coordinates of the rarest animals on Earth. The digital tools of salvation can instantly become a roadmap for extinction, forcing conservationists to employ military-grade encryption just to protect their digital ecosystems. Beyond the high-stakes battle against poaching, artificial intelligence is revolutionizing how we study the animals themselves in their natural environments. Consider the massive challenge of tracking individual creatures to understand population health and complex migration patterns. Projects like Wildbook utilize advanced computer vision to identify individual animals based entirely on their unique physical markings. Just as human facial recognition maps the specific contours of a face, these algorithms analyze the specific stripe patterns of a zebra, the intricate spots on a whale shark, or the jagged notches on a dolphin's dorsal fin. This biometric approach has completely democratized wildlife monitoring through massive global citizen science initiatives. A tourist on a safari in Kenya or a scuba diver exploring the Galapagos can snap a digital photo of an animal and upload it to a centralized database. The algorithm instantly cross-references the image against thousands of others, identifying the specific individual and logging its precise geographic location. This crowdsourced data stream provides researchers with an unprecedented high-definition view of animal movements and life cycles without ever needing to tranquilize an animal or attach a physical tracking collar. The echoes of those early visions still guided the field, contrasting sharply with the painstaking methods of the past. For over a century, field biology relied almost exclusively on binoculars, handwritten notebooks, and sheer human endurance. Researchers would spend grueling months in extreme conditions just to record a handful of fleeting observations. Today, the landscape is increasingly blanketed in a digital mesh of smart cameras, acoustic sensors, and orbital satellites, all feeding endless streams of data into a central, highly intelligent nervous system. This profound shift in scale is fundamentally redefining our relationship with the natural world. We are no longer just passive observers peering through the dense foliage. We are actively listening to the heartbeat of the planet at a resolution that was entirely unimaginable just a decade ago. The human-machine interface has granted us a nearly godlike vantage point, allowing us to perceive the invisible, intricate threads that connect a single animal's behavior to the broader, systemic health of an entire biome. The reach of this technology extends far beyond terrestrial borders, plunging deep into the crushing pressures of the world's oceans. Marine biologists are currently deploying autonomous underwater gliders equipped with smart sensors to navigate the treacherous, freezing currents of the open sea. These robotic sentinels map the devastating effects of coral bleaching, track the hidden migratory routes of endangered whales, and monitor the shifting temperatures of deep ocean currents, all while making independent, real-time navigational decisions to avoid underwater obstacles. In some critically endangered habitats, the machines are moving beyond passive observation into direct, physical intervention. On the Great Barrier Reef, an autonomous underwater vehicle known as the Hotspot utilizes advanced vision systems to actively hunt the crown-of-thorns starfish, a highly destructive invasive species that rapidly decimates fragile coral ecosystems. Once the robot's artificial intelligence positively identifies the toxic starfish, it extends a pneumatic arm to deliver a precise, lethal injection of bile salts, leaving the surrounding reef completely unharmed. This represents a controversial but highly effective new frontier in active ecological management. By deploying robotics to actively cull invasive threats, scientists are attempting to artificially restore the delicate balance of ecosystems that human activity has previously disrupted. The machine essentially becomes a precise, tireless surgeon, carefully excising a localized threat to save the larger biological host from total systemic collapse. However, the romanticized vision of a perfectly automated wilderness often clashes violently with the brutal, unforgiving realities of nature. The environment itself is fiercely hostile to delicate technology. Extreme heat, torrential rain, corrosive saltwater, and highly inquisitive wildlife constantly degrade sensors and rapidly drain batteries. A curious monkey might completely dismantle a camera trap, or a territorial elephant might trample an expensive acoustic sensor into the mud. The daily logistics of maintaining this digital infrastructure in remote, off-grid locations require constant, exhausting physical labor. Furthermore, the algorithms, no matter how profoundly sophisticated, simply cannot solve the underlying socio-economic drivers of the global biodiversity crisis. Artificial intelligence cannot alleviate the crushing poverty that drives a local farmer to bushmeat hunting, nor can it magically dismantle the international crime syndicates funding the illegal ivory trade. The technology is a powerful diagnostic tool and a brilliant tactical shield, but the ultimate, lasting solutions require human diplomacy, deep community engagement, and incredibly complex political negotiation. We must also grapple with the profound ethical implications of transforming the wild into a heavily surveilled, constantly monitored environment. Are we inadvertently stripping the wilderness of its intrinsic wildness by wiring it with hidden sensors and patrolling it with autonomous drones? There is a deep philosophical tension in using the ultimate symbols of human industrial progress to protect the few remaining spaces untouched by human hands. The traditional boundary between a natural sanctuary and a highly managed laboratory is becoming increasingly blurred. And this is just the beginning of a much deeper, more profound integration. Researchers are now looking toward the creation of digital twins for entire, massive ecosystems. By feeding decades of environmental data, satellite imagery, and continuous AI observations into massive supercomputers, scientists aim to build perfect, functioning virtual replicas of places like the Amazon basin or the Serengeti. These digital clones will allow researchers to accurately simulate the cascading effects of climate change, deforestation, or new conservation policies in a virtual sandbox before they ever occur in the real world. Imagine a near future where a real-time global biodiversity dashboard tracks the health of the planet's flora and fauna with the exact same precision that we currently track global financial markets. Sudden anomalies in animal migration patterns or unexpected drops in a specific acoustic signature could instantly trigger international conservation efforts. The artificial intelligence would act as the planet's ultimate early warning system, detecting subtle ecological tipping points long before they become irreversible, catastrophic failures. Ultimately, the long-term success of this technological revolution depends entirely on the human intention behind it. The machines possess no inherent emotional desire to save a rhino or protect a dying coral reef. They simply execute the complex mathematical logic we carefully encode within them. The true world-changing power of this movement lies in the beautiful synthesis of our deepest human empathy for the natural world, with the cold, relentless efficiency of our most advanced creations. As we navigate the escalating complexities of the 21st century, the survival of the wild may paradoxically depend on the artificial. The binary bridge we are building deep into the wilderness is not a sterile replacement for nature, but a modern, desperate covenant to protect it. By teaching our machines to see, hear, and truly understand the fragile beauty of the earth, we are taking the most vital steps toward ensuring that the magnificent symphony of the wild never falls silent.